closed session item? Being none, we'll reserve our
We got
time and
Mr.
close-
Mr. Nava.
Yes, sir.
President Oliver, members of the board, Superintendent Young. I would like to pull claim 631121. We will return it at a future board.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Any other comments? Order. Roll call. All board members are present. We have Joseph Gardia from McNair High School, student representative. Ezekiel Lowe, student body vice president from Tokay High School. Let's rise to the pledge, please. Salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice to see everybody before the holiday season breaks over. Thank you for coming. Report on actions from closed session. Placement of public, non-public school students. Dr. Ball motion, Ms. McCann. Oh, we don't have that ready yet? Thank you, Jeff. Okay, everybody here now. Awesome. Second, and to approve the student, the vote was 7-0.
And it was Ball and McFarland?
Yeah, yes, Ms. McFarland. Are we waiting for some technical stuff here, Mike?
You're good.
We're good? All right, appointment of a high school assistant principal. Dr. Ball motioned, Ms. McFarland second, that the board approved the appointment of Michael Tominaga as assistant principal at Bear Creek High School, effective date to be determined by the following vote of 6-1. Mr. Porter is a no vote. Appointment of interim elementary principal, Alisa Barban. Ms. McFarland's motion, Mr. Stroll second, that we approve the appointment of Alisa Barban as an interim principal at Podesta Ranch Elementary School, effective date to be determined by the following vote of 7-0. Appointment of interim elementary vice principal. Ms. Alexander motion, Mr. Porter second, that we approve the appointment of Jennifer Allen as interim vice principal at Washington Elementary School, effective date to be determined by the following vote of 7-0. In closed session, the board directed district administration to begin termination proceedings against the public employee. That concludes my closed section statement. Thank you. All right, we'll start out with recognitions. Presentation of the California School Employees Association, Lodi Chapter number 77, Boss of the Year Award. Kelly Stowe, Secretary of Lockford School, will be presenting the award to Michael Rogers, Principal of Lockford. Can we have her there, please?
So I just wanted to read the nomination letter because I know Mr. Rogers hasn't heard it. So on September 29th, to whom it may concern, my name is Kelly Stowe and I'm the Principal Secretary at Lockford School. I've worked for the Lodi Unified School District for 8 years. Within those 8 years, I have worked at several different schools ranging from elementary to high school. As a result, I have worked with several different principals and none have been as remarkable as Michael Rogers. Mr. Rogers is one of the most genuine people I have ever known. He is kind and compassionate and well liked by most everyone. He knows most people who walk in by name, and if he doesn't know them, he often comes out to introduce himself and let them know that his door is always open, and in actuality, he is very approachable and understanding. When Mr. Rogers has to speak to students in his office, We like to joke that he's in there giving them life lessons. He rarely raises his voice, and the students are always met with concern rather than anger. He'll always sprinkle a little humor in there to lighten the mood, and it's not uncommon for one or both to leave the office with tears in their eyes. He is kind yet stern. Sorry, I'm being very emotional. Excuse me. He is kind yet stern, and the students respect him and his role as principal. As a leader, Mr. Rogers is professional and supportive. If one of his employees has a need, he makes sure that we all get the support that we need, and he does everything he can do to follow through. He's always available for his certificated and classified staff when the need arises. I feel very honored to be able to work with someone as genuine as Mr. Rogers every day. His honesty and integrity shines through to his students, staff, and community in all aspects of his job. These are the reasons why I nominated Michael Rogers for CSEA's 2023 Boss of the Year.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to thank my staff for nominating me for this award. Just by hearing her, you can tell how blessed I am to work with the people that I do. My classified staff, my certificated staff, my students, and my community are beautiful people, and I love working with them every day. So thank you so much.
I'm going to make it a point to visit the Boss of the Year this next new year. That's in Lockwood, right?
Yes, you're welcome to come on
Awesome.
out and see us.
Great, great. I've been there before, but I haven't been where you've been the boss there. Okay. Next is,
You.
All right, Mr. Young, I won't even read that, but you want me there?
Yes. Michelle made me bring you up here because Chelsea's going to want a picture. We know how this works. Mr. Napa, I wanted to take a minute to thank you for this last year in your role as president. I enjoyed always getting together on our Thursday morning, having an opportunity to prepare for the upcoming board meeting and the agenda. I can understand why you are an important coach in the lives of so many formerly young people, because you're patient, yet at times you put your foot down that we need to move in a direction. Those are qualities that are enduring and important. And for me, making the transition from the JV team to the varsity team, I must say I've appreciated your presidency and the way that you have guided me, supported me, and led the board in this important role. So, I know that you are an avid golfer, and we all know that Tiger Woods had his own Nike ball, but Tiger Woods is not Joe Nava, and therefore we thought it was important for us to create our very own Joe Nava golf balls. So what I've got for you is the following. I've got for you your very own Lodi Unified logo, 2023 board president Joe Nava, collector's item golf balls. I don't want to see these in the bottom of the lake at Swenson or anywhere else. Hopefully they go straight. But we just wanted to say thank you as your staff, and we appreciate all that you do and your leadership. And with that, I give you your very own logo golf balls, sir.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
What do I have to do?
Take your basket.
Thank you. Everyone does that.
It's Chelsea.
Real quick. Check.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Neil, for your kind words. Guys, it's been a great ride for me. I'm a non-stressful person. I don't stress out, you know?
Neither
That's
do
the
I.
key. That's the key. But you see, you have some big district to run.
Yes.
I have a professional board, which is, I mean, great, and besides, I'm in the best district in the world, so what should I ask for, okay? Thank you very much. All right, this is my last hurrah here.
Well, before you get going, can
Yeah.
we say a few words about you?
Oh, absolutely.
If you'd like to.
You're welcome.
Thank you, President
Yes, thank you, Susan.
I think my mic Either way, I have a loud voice. I just want to thank you for your presidency this year. You've done an excellent job, as you always do as a board member. I also appreciate your calm, cool delivery with each and every one of us. When I first came on the board, I thought, boy, I've heard a lot of amazing things about Mr. Nava. He doesn't say much. And so if you watch Mr. Nava, it's all in his eyes. And when he does speak, you better listen, because if you don't listen, he's going to turn up the volume just a little bit so you hear what he's saying. But I do appreciate your guidance and your wisdom on our board. And I appreciate when you say nothing, but you say a lot. And so I do appreciate that about you. Thank you for your time as president.
Thank you so much.
I'll go while you're getting set up.
Okay.
Okay. Are the mics on by any chance?
Yeah, they should be, but you probably need to get closer to it.
No, mine's not.
All right. Anyway,
Loud.
um,
I got that.
technical difficulties. Good? Okay, anyway. I've known Joe for a long time. I first met Joe when I became an athletic director, and Joe already was one of those other competing schools, one of the Stockton schools down there. And we got to know each other well from the beginning. And, you know, I found out, Joe, you've always been in a leadership role, and this is a natural position for you. And I just appreciate the fact that you are willing to be here and do what you do. You've done a great job for Lodi, and you've been a great partner on the board. So thanks.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
I'll start on this one since you jumped.
You know.
As a newbie this year, there were all kinds of conversations with people, hey, get on his good side, this and that. And I thought I was safe because he thought my name was Sherry Lewis for a long time. And I could sneak under the radar there. I want to say personally, thank you for your time and effort. It's not easy. It's a lot of time, and the fact that you have taken this on. I've been honored to serve under your presidency while being here, so thank you for everything. And your coach's voice scares me a little, I'm just gonna say.
Thank you, Sherry.
Joe, for
Appreciate
everything.
it. Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate you.
Okay, I'd like to, as another newbie, I found out that Joe has not one good side, but both sides are good, and he gave good direction without being loud or bossy, and he kind of led by actions, not always words. So I've always felt comfortable, and it's been a great learning experience. It's been a great person to work with and a friend, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
President, thank you so much. I appreciate absolutely your leadership skills. It's something I look up to. I was actually surprised, well, I shouldn't have been, but I was surprised when I said Delta College has a Joe Nava tournament. So it was even more so for me that, oh, I sit next to a celebrity here. So thank you, though, for your kind words as we go through the meetings and your leadership skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. Okay.
Mr. Nava,
Yes, sir.
you are a legend. And these years on the board with you have been, for me, enlightening. And as the one that you love to always curb, I take that with great affection. because you're always trying to make me a better person. So with that, your year here has been incredible, and your time here with on the board has been awesome, or I should say, very, very successful. And I can't tell you, I just know from all the years of my coaching and hearing from other athletes and other athletic directors, what an impact you've made on Stockton and in Lodi in athletics and in teaching and in being a wonderful role model and being a member of this board. So thank you for your guidance. Thank you for putting up with me. I'm not the easiest person in the world to get along with, but I appreciate all those things.
Thank you, Courtney. Appreciate that very much. Thanks, board, again for all the good words and kind words, and I was very glad to serve as your president, and I'm going to miss it, but you don't forget that a board member can contribute in any way, and I will still be here as a board member, and hopefully I get a real comfortable seat, because you know, when you go someplace, you always look for the seat you sat there before, and a lot of people are programmed that way. When I go to church, I know if somebody took my seat, I say, oh, I'm gonna have a bad day. But that's what happens. So I hope I get a pretty good seat. Thank you very much. Okay, let's start with organizational meeting, election of officers. The 2023 president, and I'd like to make a nomination for Gary Knexat as our next president. And I hear a second?
I second that.
Second by Miss Dr. Ball, I'm sorry. We're going to have a verbal vote, and I'm going alphabetically. Miss Alexander?
No other nominations?
No.
Dr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Knexat?
I will vote yes, if they want me.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Nava? Aye. Mr. Porter?
Nay.
Mr. Stroh?
Nay.
Okay. The nomination is 4-3. Our next president will be Gary Knexat. Vice President nominations, please.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Ball.
Dr. Ball for Vice President.
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. McFarland. Let's again go with alphabetical votes, please. Ms. Alexander?
Nay.
Dr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Knexat?
Yes.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Mr. Nava, yes. Mr. Porter?
Nay.
Mr. Stroh?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Our next vice president will be Dr. Ball. 2023 clerk,
I'd like to nominate Sharon Alexander.
Ms. Alexander, nominated.
And second?
Second by Dr. Ball. We'll go alphabetically. Ms. Alexander?
Yay.
Dr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Knexat?
Yes.
Ms. McFarland?
Yes.
Mr. Nava, yes. Mr. Porter?
Yes.
Mr. Stroh?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So we have our officers for 2023-24. So we'll have a little recess before we start changing of the guards here, because I'm gonna have to move from here and relearn my computer. So we need the seating arrangements, and Mr. Knexat, you can have with Elijah, get the seating arrangements that you want.
Ready to get started here. Do the best we can. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who voted for me for the board. Obviously, it wasn't unanimous. I'll try not to embarrass you or anything along that line. I'll do the best I can for you. All right, we are ready to look at the 2024 calendar of meetings. Are there any comments about this from the board? Any questions about it? Because I have one.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, one in July, that's the month before we start, the month we start school, is that okay? I mean, is that gonna be enough to get us ready up and approvals of employees and things?
I believe it's consistent with what we did this last year, and I think
Two
in
last
July.
year. Did we do two in July? Am I wrong? Did we have one?
I thought we had 1 in July, 2 in August. Yes.
And then,
I noticed that we've already scheduled one in March and one in May, a study session. Is this just something we're just putting on just to be safe, or do we have an agenda already set up? Do we need a study session?
Yeah. Mr. Knaxton, members of the board, we put those on there for 2 reasons. The one earlier is LCAP study session. We put the second one on there if it's needed to continue that conversation.
Okay.
So those, they are required to be held, but the first one is pretty normal because of the LCAP process. The second one, I believe last year, we ended up not holding that because it was unnecessary with the way the funding was coming down with the LCAP.
Yeah, I'm fine for setting aside, but, I don't want to have a meeting just to have a meeting. So as long as we have an agenda, that's great. Yes, Mrs. McFarland.
I just want to make sure I noticed in March and in October, we have a meeting on each of those fall break. Is that consistent? I know some years we did have them fall on breaks because so many constituents are gone during those times. Are we comfortable, board, with having them during the breaks for our employees?
I'd personally rather not have them during the breaks.
Mr. Knaxton, member of the board, we keep those on there just because there is regular business that goes on and continues to go on. We understand that it is on break, but with the schedule and the need to continue approving and moving the process forward with so many items in a large district, it's difficult to continue with that business if we don't have that ongoing meetings, even though there certainly are challenging with our specific modified traditional calendar. But we also have a shorter summer. There's just challenges throughout the year. So I would recommend we keep those in place as they are right now.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I have a question. Is this going to be a calendar governance? Or is this just a calendar?
This is the specific calendar for the board meetings.
So this is
schedule.
not a calendar of governance?
Uh,
Have we ever had one?
This is an annual process.
I understand that. Have we ever had a calendar of governance?
I don't,
I'm sorry, I'm talking to
Yeah.
Mr.
Mr. Porter, I'm not quite understanding what you're asking. So give me the details.
Most
of
school
what
districts have a calendar of governance where we have specific things we're looking at different times during the year, specific items. And so far, all we have is dates. We don't have any idea of what's happening during the year on certain dates as required by law. So a calendar of governance is usually given out in most school districts.
Yeah, Mr. Porter, let me
I can
look.
show you examples of what.
No, let me look into it as far as what we do have. I know we have certain times a year we do recognitions and things like that, but as far as that governance, I would have to look more into it. I don't have an answer right here.
examples I can do.
Sure, I'd love to see that.
Mr. Connect, can I
Yes,
respond to that?
yes.
Mr. Porter, when I was president, Dr. Washer actually they have one in place. I don't know what it's called in our district because that's one of the things I brought back from some of the training is, do we do this? And I know it's not, it's an internal working document. It's there somewhere.
Usually most, sorry, Mr.
No.
Connect.
Yes, go ahead.
Usually most board members are aware of it, and so is the public. And it shows what happens during the year. Pretty common in most school districts, so.
Okay, let me look into it if I could,
I
because
have
this is,
examples.
okay, great, I appreciate that.
Just come back with some answers for us.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Connect.
Okay, Ready to start our, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Come on up, yeah. We can have comments on that. Yeah.
Mr. Young, members of the board. So I'm looking at the calendar and, for example, the meeting in March, that is during the break, there's 3 weeks between those, so we have a board meeting on March 12th and March 5th. We'll have a study session on the 12th. So, I mean, it just seems to me that you could at least move one of those meetings, because the next one from March 19th, well, there's one where there's 3 weeks in between that I was counting, so it doesn't seem to be consistent. It is very difficult to get constituents and teachers here during the break, and I find it that it is, to me, it seems like you don't want us to participate, and that is a reason for having meetings during the break. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes. Go ahead, yeah.
Mr. Young, President Knackstead, and members of the board. I just feel personally that board meetings during like school breaks, I don't believe they give equitable access to staff members or even students too because of that. Just to stick my mind here, I know that these board meetings are for the board to conduct their business, but also part of me feels as if that the public should be here to participate. It should be equitable for all of our community to be here and to participate in these board meetings, even though these board meetings are for the board to conduct their business amongst the board members. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Any other comments? We have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good job,
Okay. We have a first and second. We need a, our computer's gonna be working? Okay, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, board. All right, moving on to subcommittee appointments. We have a whole bunch of them here.
President Knapp?
Yes, yes, sir.
We've been doing these committees for, I don't know how many years.
Ever since I've been here.
Yeah, I question the validity of some of them and how much we actually meet. I think it'd be best for us to table this and take a look at the quality of these committees, and then come back at the next board meeting and look at, maybe we want to add some and take away some that might be more effective, because right now we've been doing the same thing over and over again. I know most of these meetings barely even meet, and I would like to see us take a look at the committees we have. Some are very important, but I think we also need to look at some, just like, for example, Health Insurance Committee. What's wrong with that? We could look at the Student Achievement Committee. We could look at a lot of things. I mean, let's make this open instead of the state thing that we're doing over and over and over again. I know I didn't serve on any board meeting, any committee meetings last year. I did it for a purpose, because the one I was on, Joe Cerna, effective. The Lodi one, the Lodi City, that was very non-effective. The city wasn't willing to work with us. So I think we need to look at these, table it, examine it as a board. We're one of the largest employers in the district. We represent the community, us as board members, and we need to take a look at how effective these committees are and how much they're doing for the community and for our students and for our teachers and for all our employees.
Mr. Young, are some of these committees mandated by some regulation, like for example, the audit review committee needs to report to the board, I know. And they will be here soon. Now, and they met with me and the staff. Are they mandated that we have these committees, or are we just doing it because Mr. Porter is mentioning this?
Mr. Knexted, members of the board, I would need to review your bylaws specifically to make sure I have answers as they pertain to those. As far as the relationship with the city of Lodi, the city of Stockton, those have been ongoing. I will say that it is difficult to get politicians from both the city and the district together. I know city of Lodi, there was a specific discussion about an ordinance as it pertained to homeless and their proximity to schools for the safety of our kids and our families. You know, I was actually going to be recommending this evening that the safety committee be an ad hoc as needed. You know, an example, when COVID hit, there was a need for that subcommittee to meet. Knock on wood, our hope is we don't go into a situation like that again. So that was going to be more as needed. Mr. Khan, you can speak specifically to the auditing process and that requirement. I don't know if there's a regulation or a specific ed code, but hopefully Mr. Khan can respond to that.
There is no statutory requirement to have a committee for the audit. It's just always been a practice of the board to have its committee meet with the auditors so that if there is any discussion, board members can actually add to it in open session.
I think this, I mean, I was the one that brought this up, so I think this would be a good time for our leadership, which is elected, to look at these committees and see if they're effective, and if we need to bring in some new ones. Change is not bad. It's all part of evolution. Change is good. To do the same committees over and over again, kind of a sign of insanity. So let's take a look at it. Our leadership do that.
I disagree with Mr. Porter regards that we cover all bases and we include all our communities, the North Stockton, Lodi proper, and all these in this committee. There's possibility of adding some committees if you want, then you saturate things. But these committees right here for the board organization cover almost every base that we need to cover as a Board of Education. I don't think we should go
Again, I never
further
said
than that. We shouldn't table it or anything like that. We should vote on it and go from there. Thank you.
It's been my experience that not all committees always meet. When they do meet, they're worthwhile. So at this point, unless there's a second to Mr. Porter's motion, did you make a motion? Oh, it's not action item, okay.
Yeah.
I just said to table it for a week so we can look at it, or for our next meeting, so we can look at it as a board and find out. I agree with Mr. Nava. Some of these are very important, but some of them, I doubt they even met last year. So clean it up, streamline it, maybe add some, make it so it's more effective, and make this board more effective in what we're doing within the community. And again, for all our employees and students. There are some here that we just honestly.
Any other comments?
I have a comment. I have a meeting tomorrow for CSBA, and I have one probably every 3 to 4 weeks. So am I not to go to that meeting if we table this? Because that's sending a message to CSBA that we don't necessarily, not that we don't find it valuable, but if we have a board meeting and we don't move forward on our appointments, then do I not go because Lodi Unified would not like a seat on California School Board Association? I think we send a mixed message. I agree that we could probably add some, but I disagree that all of these are not worthwhile. They might meet once a year, but they're, well, you're implying that.
No, I never implied that either.
That's not what
All right, Mr. Knexted, as the new president, this is a responsibility of yours to determine whether or not you want to continue or if this is something you want to bring back as part of the agenda that you're responsible for.
Yeah, and in my opinion, Mr. Porter is absolutely correct. Some of the committees probably have never met and are useless, but for the most part, I think we need to have them. The meetings are scheduled as needed. They're not mandated at a particular time. So I believe we should continue with appointing committee members. With that, the Board Audit Review Committee has 3 members, myself, Mrs. McFarland.
Well, can I make a motion to table this till next board meeting?
This is an
Yeah,
information item, it's not a.
Mr.
it's not an action.
Knackstead, members of the
Yeah.
board, because this is not an action item, I don't believe that's the appropriate avenue. I think Mr. Knackstead takes into consideration the other members of the board, but ultimately you need to determine whether or not you want to complete this process now, or if that's something you want to bring at a later date.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so back with the Audit Review Committee, if anybody like to be on it that was not on it in the past? Okay, right now we have myself, Mrs. McFarland, and Mr. Stroh. We good for that? Okay.
If someone wants it, I'm willing to give up my seat.
Really? You really give up your seat to that committee? Wow. Nobody wants it, you're on.
No, it's very
You're on.
And we do meet.
Okay, the City of Lodi 2x2 Committee, right now we have Mr. Stroh and Mrs. Alexander. Yes?
I'd like to continue.
Yes? Anybody else want to get on that?
I would.
Okay.
No, it's
That's two, that's 2 appointments.
Oh, it's only 2
so-
appointments, okay, sorry.
Anybody want to get done?
Anybody
Yeah.
want to give it up? Mr. Stroh, you still want it?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 appointees for City of Stockton 2x2 Committee, Dr. Ball and Mrs. McFarland.
Yes, I'd like to stay on it.
Okay, okay, good.
And we did meet.
Okay, the San Joaquin County 2x2, 2 appointees. We have, again, Dr. Ball and Mrs. McFarland.
I'd like to stay on it.
Okay, that's going fast. City of Stockton Parks and Rec Department, we have 1 appointee, Mr. Nava.
I'd like to continue, Mr.
Okay,
President.
cool, all right. The Joe Center Junior Charter Advisory, we have 2 appointees, Mrs. McFarland and Mr. Stroh.
I would like to continue, please.
Okay,
I would also.
going, all right. And we have a Legislative Advocacy Committee, which is going to be ad hoc or just meet as needed.
Yeah.
So we have currently Dr. Ball and Mrs. McFarland.
I'd like to remove myself from that.
Okay,
You can add me to that, please.
okay.
I'd like to continue to
All right, thank you. And the San Joaquin County School Board Association,
At this point, Mrs. McFarland will continue on for her 3-year term.
looks like she has, oh yeah, 3-year term. Yeah, so you're,
3-year term.
you're on. Okay. What else? They have the Facilities Master Plan Committee.
Mr. Knackstead, I would suggest we change that to the Long Range Plan Committee. I think, just to update the language of that committee,
Long Range Facility Plan.
sorry, Long Range Facility Plan Committee.
Okay. Okay. And currently we have Dr. Ball, Mrs. Alexander, and myself.
I'd like to stay.
You're on? Yes? I'll hang in there.
Unless somebody, if somebody else wants to go,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's.
If anybody would like to add, we can do that.
You can
Okay.
have Mr. Porter.
Okay, you want to take my place?
Sure.
Okay.
Now, we changed the name of the committee, is that correct?
I'm recommending it becomes Long Range Plan Facility Committee. Is that correct?
Long Range Facility
I
Plan.
knew I got that wrong.
Long Range Facility
It's in the
Plan.
body of it.
So we are changing committees, but we weren't supposed to.
The only thing I'm doing is updating the language. Using the term master plan is outdated language, so I'm just updating the language of the same committee.
Well, I'm
That's all.
confused, but okay, all right.
And lastly, we have another ad hoc committee, as needed, and that's the Board Safety Committee. Dr. Ball, Ms. Alexander, and Mrs. McFarland.
I'd like to remove,
Okay?
mainly because I'm not sure what it's for.
Okay.
Understandable in that
Is it
it
board
has,
safety or is it, what, is it the safety of this board or is it the safety of this?
And-
I think the name needs to be reconsidered.
okay, I use COVID as an example. When that happened, that ad hoc committee or that committee needed to meet to look at the circumstances and the reality of that pandemic specifically. So that's why we changed it to more of an ad hoc as needed. If an issue a major issue pops up that we need an ad hoc committee to look at and discuss, and that's why we tried to change that. So I don't have a specific reason it would need to meet. However, if something were to come up, a major catastrophe, something that we needed to pull together 3 board members to discuss so we can then bring that back to the greater board, I think that's why it continues. Even though the word safety is often used in other avenues, I think that's part of why it's been put in place.
Okay.
May I ask a question? Mr. Young, may I ask a question about that? Well, I just wanted to,
Yes,
so, does the safety?
hang on, whoa, slow down.
Okay.
Hold your jets. Okay, hang on. You're good. Sit down. Go ahead.
Wow. You are so impressive. Wow.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to know, there is a district safety committee, so do the board members participate in that when we meet, when the different groups meet together on the safety committee right now? So that was my question, is that a role that they would play as a member of that committee?
Not normally, but it doesn't sound like a bad idea, especially on some committees like the safety committee. Seems like that would be, make some sense to me.
Yeah, this is a standing board committee. This is, that's different as far as employee groups and anything that's related to that. So I don't, again, I would have to look at any board policies that exist or collective bargaining agreements that speak to that, so.
Take a look at that, let us know. We can always add people if we want to. Okay, thank you. Ms. McFarland? Okay. All right, we have a CSBA Delegate Assembly. There are currently 4 expiring delegate seats in sub-region 8A, which is San Joaquin County. However, the board may nominate as many individuals as it chooses. Susan McFarland is currently a delegate with her term ending in 2025. So at this point, we just need some nominations that would, for this.
I have a question.
Okay.
So for this, we do have one appointee already. Do we then change the committee, reconsider the number of people there, or are we just keeping with one appointee from this?
Yep.
So the way I understood it, Stockton Unified has several, and it has to do with your number of employees. Certain districts have grandfathered people in, and other districts can add more. I personally believe Lodi Unified is one of the larger in San Joaquin County, and I do believe, and I have been very outspoken at our meetings, that we need 2 board members present, because you've got a couple from Lambertville that goes up and down San Joaquin County. But I do think that we should put an additional person forward and see how the voting shakes with all the other schools. There are, I believe, 10 of us, 12 of us. But Stockton, or Lodi Unified, seems to only have one person historically on it, and I think we are large enough that we need a larger voice. And without us sitting on that school board association and all, then we have no voice. And so 1 is better than none, 2 would be better than 1. That's kind of my feeling.
So we can nominate 4 more people on this if we choose to do so.
Mr. Connexon, members of the board, that is the case, and I would reiterate, with a county where we are the 2nd largest district, having 1 representative when much smaller districts have 2 voices on that same delegate assembly, I think it would benefit our district to have more than 1.
With that, I'd like to nominate Shirley Alexander.
I'll second that then. Okay. See what happens when you go to sleep?
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Ms. McFarland.
You're so
You're the best.
Okay.
We'll
have a voice vote on this, correct? Okay, all in favor of adding, I think you can vote at the same time, right?
I don't believe so, because yes. I mean, you can, since there's a nomination and have we gotten a second?
I second it.
Okay,
Okay.
so you would vote on the 1 person who's volunteered, and then you can determine whether additional people are interested or you want to nominate someone else.
Start with Ms. Porter.
Oh, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
You're in. Okay.
I'd like to nominate Jeff Stroll if he's available and is interested, and because, like Susan said, we only have one representative, now we have two, 3 would be best. If Jeff's available, I would like an opportunity.
Yes, second it, then if Becky is available.
Saying no, so quick.
Okay. The other,
Aye.
Aye.
I'm writing names down, that's why. Okay. I'll vote aye.
Aye.
There we go. We got him. They brought 7-0.
So those names will appear on the CSBA ballot that we all know.
Looks like it. Any other nominations? We can nominate 2 more. Okay, we got them. We have students, comments from student representatives. Let's start with Joseph. Thank you, Mr. Young. President Knaxton, that's going to be something I got to get used to. Yeah. And members of the board, I'm Joseph Gardia, the ASB president of McNair High School, and I'd like to share our report. Starting off with our leadership, student government, as always, is continuing to work on ways to improve our communication with students and staff. Our Snowball Spirit Week, a winter's dream, was last week. Our rally was on Thursday, and our winter formal was on Saturday. In our rally, we showcased our winter sports and witnessed an amazing performance where one of our dormant clubs, Rhythm Emphasis, made a huge comeback this season. McNair's Link Crew is hosting numerous events in the month of December to promote some holiday spirit on campus. One of them is Pie, a Link Crew leader. The next one is a holiday workshop where students came together and they made ornaments, they painted them, and I believe they made gingerbread cookies too. And the next event that they're holding is a toy drive, which they are partnering with the Rayleigh's Cafe and the Stockton Police Department. With our leadership festivities out of the way, here's also what's been going on at McNair. Last week, with our Snowball, the class of 2026 won our 2023 Snowball Hallway Decoration Competition. McNair's 6th annual Hogwarts Hullabaloo was on November 18th, where our community came out, and in our atrium, we decorated the entire inside of our atrium like Hogwarts. And our amazing theater department put on a play where they also enjoyed catered food. And I personally wasn't there, but from word of mouth, I heard that it was amazing as always. And they'll do it again next year, so if you guys are interested, hopefully the next ASB will be around and they'll let you know what's going on at McNair. McNair CTE students held an ARC blood drive on December 1st. We have saved 148 lives since September, and we hope to come back even stronger and have McNair show out to save more lives at our last blood drive happening sometime in April. Now for our recognitions. First up, our staff recognition. I'd like to recognize McNair staff and facilities, Miss Dory, the site supervisor, and her crew of custodial and maintenance staff. Chef Owens, the staff in the attendance office, and the PE department for all working together to pull off the ARC blood drive. For our students, I'd like to recognize the culinary, CTE, and health occupation students for their exemplary leadership in coordinating and conducting McNair's Grinch ARC blood drive. McNair's choir also came out and sang carols to bring some holiday spirit in our gym, so shout out to Miss Yates and her amazing choir. We faced many challenges and everyone banded together to make sure everything went smoothly, especially our health occupation students who got a great first-hand experience. I'd like to use this moment while we're on the topic of the blood drive to point out that McNair is currently having issues with our HVAC systems, which I know is an issue district-wide, but we firsthand faced the consequences of just letting this issue idly sit by. Our small gym got really warm during the blood drive, and this caused many donators to have some serious reactions, and this is very dangerous and threatens their health. Although we did not have any serious problems, this still goes on at McNair, and we had someone from the district. His name was Joel, so shout out to Joel for coming by at such short notice and helping us do a quick fix for us. But this is not a long-term fix, so something needs to be done about our HVAC systems, and not just at McNair, but at all of our sites. And Moving forward with our recognitions, I'd like to give a huge congratulations to the McNair artists who participated in the San Joaquin Art Expression Student Exhibition on November 9th. Liva Khan won the Best of Show for her drawing. She also took home first place in the drawing category as well as the Arts Commission Award. Kiana Lafiso took home an honorable mention ribbon in the drawing category. Andres Gonzalez earned an honorable mention ribbon for the sculpture of an OXO station. Samantha Munoz earned third place for their El Dicho Cafe sculpture, and Edgar Pulido earned second place for a sculpture of the iconic Randy's Donuts. And now for our JV's boys basketball for our co-curricular recognitions. Our boys basketball JV currently has a score of 3-1, and we hold a 2-game win streak. And our most recent player of the game was a Xavion Domino in the McNair at Oakdale game. And I'd like to go back to our HVAC system issue, and I'd just like to say it's the season of giving. So hopefully McNair can see some sunshine. Thank you for your time, and that is currently what's happening on McNair, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay, Ezekiel Lowe, Vice President at Tokay, is that right? Okay, welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Young, President Knackstead, and members of the board. I'm Ezekiel Lowe, honored to serve as the ASB Vice President representing Tokay, and I'm thrilled to share some incredible initiatives happening at our school. Firstly, Tokay is actively engaged in community service through our canned food and clothing drives, aiming to make a positive impact beyond our campus borders. Our winter sports teams are showcasing tremendous dedication and resilience in representing Tokay. The hard work and commitment of our boys and girls wrestling, soccer, basketball teams, and the cheerleading squad are evident, and their efforts will undoubtedly shine brighter as the season progresses. As the holiday season approaches, our students are fostering inclusivity by celebrating various traditions, ensuring a welcoming environment for all. This spirit is exemplified through our ongoing Spirit Week, featuring fun themes each day to encourage participation and camaraderie among students and staff. To alleviate the stress of upcoming finals, our student government has arranged a special day for students to interact with adorable dogs on campus, which serves as a wonderful opportunity to relax and de-stress amidst academic pressures. Moreover, our dedicated Tokay counselors have introduced Tokay Threads, offering essential supplies like canned food, hygiene products, coats, and toothbrushes to students in need, all free of charge. This initiative is a testament to the caring and supportive community we strive to cultivate at Tokay. In a sense, Tokay is thriving with positive energy and impactful initiatives, fostering a supportive environment for our students. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to continuing these meaningful endeavors.
Thank you. Mr. Young, you have a report for us?
Yes, Mr. Knackstead, members of the board. Amongst the board are some famous people, as you will see in 2 newspaper articles. Dr. Ball mentioned one of those in the Stockton Record. Mr. Nava, you were mentioned, and there you are, sir. We just want to celebrate you, and it looks like the 65th annual Joe Nava Delta King Classic Boys Tournament wrapped up. That is quite an accomplishment, and we wanted to celebrate you as your staff. And the second one we have for you is Mr. Porter. Mr. Porter was featured in an article talking about his storied coaching career, but also pointing to the fact that he has excelled as a water polo referee, even having the opportunity to participate at the junior college level, which is quite an accomplishment. Therefore, I wanted to make sure we highlighted our board members on this day and just notice them for for what you do in our communities. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Young. All right, comments from the public. At this point, we have a 20-minute time period has been set aside for the public to address the board on items not listed on the agenda.
Each public speaker shall limit his or her comments to 3 minutes. The board cannot engage in dialogue about public comments because of restrictions placed by the California Brown Act. And how many we have? Oh, we have 6 people, so if everybody sticks to their 3 minutes, we're good for the 20 minutes. Kelly Hansen.
Good evening, members of the board. Mr. Neal, get that doctorate quick, okay? I want to talk a little bit about what I talked about before. I didn't hear anything back from your side, for our young teachers who need to be able to go across the salary schedule. And right now, everything is basically they're only accepting college transcripts as possible things. And I can remember when I was a young teacher, I took all these different things, and I would like to see us open things up a little bit more. Definitely include some of the CTA conferences. Perhaps you could go to one and see the quality of the training that's done there. And I just would like to talk about it. And the second thing I want to say is that it makes me very sad every time I look at what we're talking about in terms of our contract. The only issue that is really open between us is salary. And I look at all the other things that we presented, and I think that it would be nice if you just said, yes, let's talk about it. Perhaps like we've had tons of teachers talk about the time, how it's horrible when you have to lie because you're going to take your child to college, or you're going to go to a wedding that's a 3-day event and you're going to need that Friday. But just be open to discussing this with us. That would be a good start. And second thing I want to say is, Joseph, as teachers, we love when our students speak up, especially when they know they're kind of be shut down. You are very brave, and the young lady from Bear Creek High School also. I love when the two of you speak. Thank you so much.
Shelley, I don't know,
Lichty.
Lichty. Okay, that's exactly right.
Good evening, members of the board. Mr. Young, I am Shelley Lichty. I'm a 3rd grade teacher for 19 years in this school district, currently at Julia Morgan. I would like to first wish you all a wonderful holiday season. I would also like to include you and invite you to our annual Winter Festival program, which will be held next Wednesday at Delta College, featuring our entire school with musical performances. It's truly a joyful evening. As a longtime teacher, it is disheartening to again, this time of year, be fighting for an equitable contract. I feel disregarded and disrespected. At this busy time of year, I am here. I should be at home with my children. I am not seen and I am not heard. This is not a job. This is a calling and a passion. We are again fighting for our COLA. COLA is not a raise. It will not be given to even match the increase in our health benefits that we are now expected to pay. It is actually a pay cut for many of us. The expectations to my students have also multiplied, but where is the support for me in helping to accomplish these?
Good evening, Mr. Young, President Connected, and board members. My name is Maria Smith, and I teach 5th grade at John Muir Elementary. I haven't been able to attend a meeting in person the last few weeks, but I wanted to give a few shout-outs. Mr. Young, thank you for coming to John Muir's Veterans Day celebration. I understand that you were looking for me to say hello. I know I look different without the podium in front of me.
So, hi, how are you? Thanks again for coming.
Dr. Ball and Mr. Schroe, I understand that you've been making some visits to your schools this year. It's great to have you see students, teachers, and administrators in action when you're making policies and decisions that affect all of us. I'd like to invite John Muir's board member, President Connected, and any other board members or administrators who are interested in coming by John Muir for some of our upcoming events that are happening in our cafeteria. Tomorrow, stop by at 9 o'clock to witness one of our house rallies where you'll get to see us celebrate our second quarter winner, hear our house chants, and watch as our 6 houses battle it out in a fun game. On Tuesday, December 19th at 9:50, we would love for you to stop by and help judge our second graders' gingerbread houses. Lastly, on Wednesday, December 20th, we'll be having our holiday program where kindergarten through 3rd will perform songs from 9 o'clock to 9:30, and then 4th through 6th grade will do their songs at 9:45 to 10:15. I know you're all very busy, but it would be great if some of you were able to attend these events. Finally, I can't speak without mentioning our ongoing struggle to settle our 2023-2024 contract. The next negotiating meeting is this Friday. Please instruct the district to negotiate in good faith. Ask them to give us the full 8.22% COLA, which is what the state gave the district to pass on to their teachers. Give us something to celebrate before the upcoming holiday season. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Rebecca Lima? I think it's an L. Okay.
Hi, I'm a little bit nervous to speak to you guys tonight. My name is Rebecca Lima, and I've been teaching with Lodi Unified for 8 years. I'm a little nervous to speak to you tonight, but I've been encouraged to speak up not only for myself, but for other nursing moms teaching in this district. According to Labor Code Section 1030, every employer, including the state and any political subdivision, must provide a reasonable amount of break time to accommodate an employee desiring to express breast milk for the employee's infant child each time the employee has a need to express milk. Since my return to work from maternity leave on October 16th, I've been told by my administrator that I shouldn't be requesting coverage to pump outside of my 15-minute recess time, which I'd only done 7 times in 4 weeks, because that is my designated morning pump time. But 15 minutes is simply not a reasonable amount of time to set up, pump, clean, store the milk, and let's not forget using the restroom. I was also asked if I could change my pumping feeding schedule in the morning when I shared that waiting until my recess time, which is after 10 a.m., is too long of a wait after feeding my son before work. I've also been walked in on by our custodian while pumping, despite having a bright orange "Do Not Enter" sign on the door. This has also happened twice to the other nursing mom at my site, because we both pump in our classrooms, which have a front wall full of windows with missing or broken blinds. Thank goodness for nursing covers. The only other room that's been offered to us is a small office with a window facing the kindergarten playground, a window that also does not have working blinds. So we use our classrooms because carrying everything and setting up and cleaning up in another room cuts into that 15-minute time that we have been provided. A nursing mom at another site also faced pushback this year at her site when requesting reasonable pump time. She only gets the 30 minutes she needs to pump because the RSP para at her site provides 15 minutes of coverage before her 15-minute recess time. But it shouldn't be up to us or our colleagues to figure out how to find time for us to pump. There are teachers currently pregnant or on maternity leave who are worried about coming back to work and not being accommodated. But the law says that this district is required to provide those accommodations. I hope the board can provide some direction to district personnel and in turn our administrators to be more supportive and accommodating for nursing moms before we have to start filing wage claims and violations of lactation accommodation laws. Thank you.
Oh, there's, okay.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you at first. And so, hello, board members and Mr. Young and other members of the district. My name is Tammy Brigham. I'm a paraeducator with the SDC preschool program. Oh, sorry. Is that better? So I'm a paraeducator with the SDC preschool program. And currently I'm at the Creekside site where you have our hub of preschoolers there. And I just want to talk about, actually for our paras, I'm just curious as why you only want to help one group of paraeducators instead of all the groups of paraeducators.
And you're making a divide between your employees. So when that happens, we're gonna have a flux of people leaving. We already have a flux of people leaving, or have already left for this exact reason, because they can find a different place that works better for them, especially with the upcoming, starting in January, the increase to our health benefits. I mean, that's gonna go up, anywhere from 11 to 13%. So, I'd really like you to consider maybe helping all the paras out and not just one group of paras going up a 3-step, because, some of those paras don't have to deal with the stuff that we have to deal with on a daily basis of getting spit at, hit, kicked, bit, things thrown at us, scratched. I mean, it's a huge list of things that we have to deal with. Changing diapers on a daily basis, that's not always fun either. So I would really implore you guys to think about helping all the paras and not just one group of paras. It doesn't seem right, because so do you want us all to go to that particular spot for paras, because we can all leave, and then you have to find more paras. You still have to find paras, but you're gonna have open spots, so it doesn't make sense. Help everybody, help all of the CSCA members. We're all struggling, everybody's struggling, not just paras in general, but I would, since I speak on behalf of the paras. And I would also like to invite you guys to come to our classrooms. Come spend more than 5 minutes in our classrooms, because it takes more than 5 minutes to see exactly what we do. Because a lot of times when people come in, that 5 minutes is like, oh, everybody seems to be doing okay at that time. So if you spend a little longer than 5 minutes in the classroom, you'll see exactly what we have to deal with every day on a daily basis. So please come out to our classrooms. I don't mind. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm usually over there, but someone is in my seat. Mr. Nava?
Mr. Nava did?
No, but my seat is usually on this side,
okay.
but I sat over here tonight. Hi, Anne Garcia, Mr. Young. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I know you were sad about it. But I'm speaking because at the November 7th meeting, it was a full meeting with lots of emotions and energy. And that night, one person got up and was expressing his frustration over the poor and actually terrible experience his child was having. And he's not here tonight, and I'm not sure why. I hope it means it's been solved. He used foul language, and people were appalled, as many people in the audience cheered, not for the foul language. We weren't cheering for that. We were cheering to support him and his heartache. And yet at the end of the evening, I left because I was tired, and I've been to lots of meetings, and I have a job. In fact, I have 2 jobs, and now I'm doing this. I went home and I listened to the meeting at the end, and board members were appalled at his language instead of being appalled at what was happening to his child. And then tonight, and I got in contact with one of our board members, and we had a good chat. And then tonight, the new president, I believe, said to our union president to cool her jets, which is so disrespectful. And I hope you'll speak to that too, because if we're gonna work together, you cannot talk that way to our union president, nor would we talk that way to you. So I'm asking for you to be respectful. It is the season of giving. I want to thank everyone who came. Shelley invited you to Julia Morgan's amazing night.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. We filled Delta College with every grandma and auntie and uncle and cousin that comes to Julia Morgan. I invite you to come, but I also invite you to think about the way you talk about and to us, and the way you talk about our leader. Thank you.
Comments from the public. We have, at this point, we have going on at consent agenda A. The public and the student representatives may address the board on consent agenda A, which is routine business. Each public speaker shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. Yes.
Thank you, President Connexted, members of the board, Superintendent Young. President Connexted, may I pull A3 and A13 for some explanation?
A what?
A3
okay.
And A13.
Okay. Okay. No comments from the public? Okay, so any
Chairman, I move we approve the rest of consent agenda 8.
Yeah, we have a first and second then. We're ready for, are we using the machine? Okay, ready for board vote? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Student vote, we also, Joseph? Aye. Aye, thank you. We already voted, but,
Oh, sorry, I wasn't sure, because for the agenda A, because I did have a question. I wasn't sure, like when we were supposed to come up and talk, I wasn't sure. If that
I
was-
will allow you to talk, but we've already voted, so.
Okay, I just have a question. I was wondering, because I was looking on the reports for how much money you pay out to the other companies that come in and like support other parent companies like Maxim and Point Quest and stuff. So I did notice that, so there's one portion of it, one of the totals for that is $168,904.69. And another portion for Maxim payout is $127,559.02. And then roughly about another $50,000 combined total for Point Quest, which comes out to like $341,463. I'm just curious as to why we're spending money on those things instead of putting those towards
Mr. Young,
Yeah.
we're a little out of order here, so.
Yeah, Mr. Connection, members of the board, the specific questions that are being asked, Mr. Khan can provide the specific details to her, and either at this board meeting or can get back to you by way of email and provide you that information, okay?
Can you email?
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my mistake. Okay. So then we have a board vote then? Or we already did that? All right, good.
Mr. Khan, A3, please.
Thank you, President Connect, members of the board, Superintendent Young. A3, I'd like to make a correction to the language, and I would ask that the board continue with my verbal change to this item, and then staff will bring back a technical correction at the next board meeting. But on A3, Agenda 4, page 5, line item 104.71. There is language to decrease 6.125 para positions in resource 6053. That should read increase, not decrease. And again, we'd ask the board to go and vote on this verbal change. We are increasing resource 6053 by 6.125.
Members of the board, it's on page 5. It's the very last line on that page.
That page, Michael?
Yeah, 104.71 is a specific line where it says decrease, and it should say increase, which is why we need to bring back a technical revision.
Okay, so do we make a motion to that now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion with the verbal correction from Mr. Khan on agenda 8. Agenda item 8.3.
Okay, we have first and second. We need a board vote then. All right, a student vote first. Aye. Aye. And board vote. That was in. Sherry, you vote. Okay, and it passes 7-0. All right, going on to, we pulled A13.
Thank you, President Knagstead, members of the board, Superintendent Young. This is a typo in the 5th line of the title. Elementary is spelled with an A, not an S. And again, there is no other substantive change to this resolution, we'd ask that the board approve.
Okay.
As
I just want to know how Sharon is.
Yeah. Have a motion, please?
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, student vote? Aye.
Aye.
Board vote? And that passes 7-0. Okay, other action items. Other action item 1 is first interim financial report, Mr. Khan.
Thank you, President Knackstead, members of the board, Superintendent Young. We're here, Senior Director Juarez and I are here to present the first interim report. I'd like to thank Senior Director Juarez and also her staff member, Vikeshni Dial, for putting this together. As you know, we've lost our Director 3 of budgeting, Adina Andra. She is actually taking a higher level position in a different school district. So this was really a great effort to pull this thing together in the last minute. I did meet, I won't go into any of the slides unless any of the board members really wish me to cover something specific. First interim is kind of an odd duck of a financial report. Board's aware we have to do 4 reports a year, the adopted budget in June, first interim in December, second interim in March, and then all the way through the end of the year into September, Senior Director Juarez and her team present the unaudited actuals. First interim's an odd duck because it only really covers actually less than 3 months spending in the district, but there is a real purpose to the first interim, and that's to put back in all the carryover from the previous year. In our SBAC meeting, we refer to carryover as other people or other budget managers unspent money from the prior year. I did meet with SBAC on December 5th, and we ran over the carryover for the federal, state, local, and unrestricted. There were no questions at that time about the carryover, but I think in tonight's report I would focus on 3 things. The carryover slides that are in this report here, Mike, I think they're 2 or 3 slides in. So if there are any board questions on this, I'd be happy to take them. The next slide with the bar charts, this shows right there. All right, so this shows the board's ending fund balances, beginning fund balance as well, but as we all know, really the thing we focus on is making sure we have enough money at the end. At the bottom of this slide, I think is the important language. It says COLAs including revenue but not expenditures. What that means is...
Mr. Khan, I hate to interrupt. Can you please tell me the page, because I'm getting a cake in my neck and I want to see the numbers up close.
Page 8 of 12.
8 of 12. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
It says page 7 on the lower right-hand corner as well. All right, so I'm alluding to the red font at the bottom of the slide where it says COLA is included in revenue but not expenditures. What that means simply is the board is committed through its proposals to compensation increases for approximately 63 million of these dollars. I know that only 1 unit has settled, but the other units have been, received their proposals, and that dollar amount in terms of the ongoing and the one-time money that's been offered will eat up approximately 63 million of these ending fund balances. All right, so carryover, ending fund balances, and then the last thing of major importance, I think, to discuss in this is, I'm sure everybody's aware of the LAO report. I won't go into that, but it's certainly an impact. I'll let anybody that wishes to read the December 1st, 2023 LAO report read it, but LAO is predicting major declines in revenue in the year. So I think about a month ago we heard a report from the fiscal policy director at LAO, Dr. Capon, who said that, that it's right now the COLA for 24/5 measures at 1%. At 1%. So in this ending fund balance slide that you see before you is over 3% of COLA. So that will have to be adjusted at second interim if in fact we get through governor's budget in January and we receive that news. So revenue is down. I think over the 22-3 year and 23-4 year, LAO is currently measuring a $26 billion decline and a negative $58 billion budget imbalance for the 22-3 year and 23-4 year. So if there's any silver lining in this, the board has heard me come before it on past occasions, and where I've made the statement that nobody seems to know where Newsom was going to get the money to pay the 8.22% COLA. Well, now we do. It's coming from next year's COLA. So this is an ongoing story, but it's one I think that should be read in the LAO's words for a good understanding of where we stand statewide. So I'd be happy to address anything else in the slideshow or any of the other attachments or take any questions at this.
So the COLA for this year is next year's COLA? I mean, that's how they're going to pay for this?
Well, there was never enough money in the state budget to really explain how an 8.22 COLA was going to be offered. And again, in Director Capon's own words, now we know where it's coming from.
So this is a politician that's making...
It is not. This gentleman is one of the...
No, I mean...
I'm sorry.
I meant our governor, actually, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Dr. Capon is one of the most impressive economists I've ever seen.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Oh, Ms. Porter.
Yeah, thank you, President Connection. Dr. Khan, or Mr. Khan, I read a report where, and I brought this up earlier, that they were going to reopen the 22-23 budget, or 23-24 budget, yeah, that's right, 23-24 budget in January. They're going to look at possibly reopening that budget and looking at some pullbacks. Now, am I off base on that, or did I read something that was weird on the internet?
I have not read that. I'd be surprised if that did occur, but surprises happen.
They said it's unusual.
I know some of the board, our staff, and the bargaining unit leadership will be at the Sacramento Governor's Budget presentation put on by School Services. What I've read, and I think I'm probably going more off of the LAO's report, is they're recommending dipping into the rainy day fund. And there's currently $24 billion in that statewide. The legislative analyst is saying we need to use half of it and no more in the current year, and then save the $12 billion for next year.
Now, am I correct that we won't know much until January?
January is when Governor Newsom will present his budget to the state legislature,
Yes.
so that's what it will be.
January 10th,
But then we know that, then you have 5 months of back and forth between the governor's office and the legislature, and that results in the May revise. Generally, that's pretty stable. There have been years where there's been no resemblance between May revise in the July budget, but most of the time it's may revises
Okay.
what we have to.
Thank you for answering my question. Answering my question. Any other board comments? Okay, Dr. Ball.
Thank you, President Connected. Mr. Khan, on this year it mentions that even if we have deficit in the state next year, the Lodi Unified still will be okay to function the way it does for the next 2 years?
The board has been very conservative, and that's correct. But again, I will note that the board currently has outstanding proposals to its bargaining units that will total $63 million over these 3 years, if they come to pass, if there's an agreement. If the COLA goes to 1% from what we currently have baked in the cake in this slide in front of you, that's approximately $6.5–7 million of revenue per year that we won't receive, as we're currently indicating that we will.
Any other board comments? Comments from the public? Ms. Wilkins?
President Knackstead, members of the board. Yeah, I saw the presentation, but like they say, the devil is in the details. So I printed out the very first handout. And on page 19, I'm looking at under expenditures, B, line item 4, accounts 4,000 to 4999. Original budget was 12 million and some change. Approved operating budget was 12 million and some change. Actuals to date is 3.7 million, but the projected totals are 131,943,328,000, an increase of 958.2%. I'm kind of confused because as far as I know, we're not doing any major budget adoptions, book adoptions, or curriculum adoptions. So I'm very interested in where that number came from.
So again, we discussed this last Wednesday night at SBAC. The biggest carryover that the board experiences in this financial statement is your CARES money, what we used to call CARES money. ESSER, ELOG, the other ELOG. I'm sorry, I forgot all the names of them. The 7435 was slides 4 through 6. Senior Director is one. So again, we covered this on last Wednesday.
Yes.
President Knox, William Yates, teacher, also a parent of 2 Lodi Unified students. And I spoke to the board 2 board meetings ago. This is the hijacking I was talking about. The savings, the biggest savings you're gonna have is the lack of teachers. That's special. I'm currently covering a student who doesn't have a teacher in a school that doesn't have 3 special ed teachers. That's where we're saving our money. Because you're competing against other school districts who are not looking at this as conservatively. You are going to save money. There's a goal to that. But your goal is full staffing. We should have a report here over what is the staffing for the next 3 years. Because it's going to be worse than our projected loss. Anybody with a business degree knows economists can spot 8 recessions in 4 quarters. They're always going to have a negative outlook. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any student comments? Okay. All right. We have a motion to approve this.
I motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, student vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And board vote? And it looks like it approved 7-0. Okay, communications from, is there any other comments or? Okay, communications from any employee groups?
Yes.
CSEA, LEA, there's CSEA.
Good evening, members of the board. Mr. Connexted, congratulations. Mr. Young, Desiree Wise with CSEA. I just have a couple quick comments. I didn't really plan to, I don't really have a whole lot to say, but just a couple things that came up throughout the meeting. In regards to the safety committee, I'm a little confused why we would have two different safety committees, Mr. Young, one for the board members and then one for employee groups. I know CSEA has urged in the past Lodi Unified to meet with the safety committee. I know you referenced the pandemic as just a quick example, but I know CSEA has brought forward safety concerns in regards to our employees. I know we have custodians that lift trash over their heads into the dumpsters. We have numerous, I believe, workers' comp claims for paras, different things of that nature. So I know we've tried to bring some of those concerns forward at the safety committee, and it would be great if a board member would be present. The other thing that I was going to talk about in regards to the committees again is I didn't see, as Mr. Khan was just referencing, the superintendent's budget advisory committee rep. I didn't see that committee listed, and I think Ms. Alexander has been serving recently. I think I've been to some of the meetings where she's been present, but I didn't see that on the list of meetings. And the other thing I wanted to say was thank you for allowing the CSEA the platform to acknowledge our 2023 Boss of the Year. It was kind of stiff competition this year, I'm not going to lie. There was about 4 or 5 different nominations, so thanks again to Mr. Rogers. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you. Lisa? Okay. Oh.
President Knackstead, Mr. Young, members of the board. You know, teachers came up and talked about several things. And to me, it emphasizes the fact that whenever we go to the bargaining table, all the district is interested is in the financials, in the money. I know that a couple of meetings ago I was out, and I know Lori Solis talked about nursing moms. In the interim, I've talked to Dr. Dosti about nursing moms and this issue. And I'm just really disappointed to hear that it still hasn't been addressed. And I will stand with my nursing moms who want to file a complaint, because there are federal and state laws that protect them to be able to do this. I was very, very blessed when I had my son. I worked in private industry. I had a room with dimmable lights and a reclining lounger, and they had a little CD player radio thing there. And there was a sink in the room. And the little kitchenette was literally 10 steps out of the room, so I could put all my milk and things there. And to hear these teachers having to use their classrooms, which are not private, because many classrooms don't have working blinds, to even put signs on the door and to see them ignored by staff and an invasion of their privacy is just not acceptable. So I don't know, I mean, a lot of you are men and you don't understand. You kind of have left that stuff to the women, but I'm sorry. Talk to your wives, talk to your daughters, daughter-in-laws, and get a different perspective. Because this is one of those things that we would like to talk about in bargaining. We have other things like TK. We have no TK language in our contract. We need to add TK language. But the district has shown no interest in discussing TK language. It's just frustrating, to say the least. I do want to give a shout out though, it is the season of giving. And one of my members who's done a lot of organizing here, because does a lot of organizing outside of our district. Ansuela Garcia, for the past 9 years, has been having a program to feed the hungry by collecting donations from teachers like myself in this community and the wider Lodi Stockton community to give to the emergency food bank. This year she had over $5,000 for getting Thanksgiving turkeys and sides. And from my last count, she was just over $2,000 for Christmas. If this is something that you are interested in doing, I can get you in touch with Anna. She's right there. And she can tell you how to give.
$45,000 in 7 years.
$45,000 in 7 years
So far.
that she's done so far. And this is just a grassroots thing. These are the things that teachers do because we see the need. And I don't think sometimes the district acknowledges the things that we do, the things that we are asked to do. We're asked to do more and more and more and more. Yet we don't have the supports, the kids don't have the supports. We need to invest in our district. It's hard. One of the parents came up. They can make more money now working in fast food than the district is willing to pay them. And they have a way harder job. Invest in our students. We have $170 million in unrestricted reserves. The last count I did with CTA. Supposedly $63 million is going to go toward salaries, but I'm telling you, I don't know if it's enough, especially to get the hard to fill spots for teachers and parents and bus drivers and other support staff that we need to make a school run. Thank you.
Any other board comments? Okay, all right. Thank you. Any board comments? Ms. Porter.
I'll go first. First of all, the postcards, love it. Love activism. You know, a lot of people don't like it. I love it. I've read every one. Even those ones that weren't very nice.
They were mostly nice.
Mostly were pretty nice. Mr. Wright said, "You're doing a great job." I go, "Then why are you sending me postcards?" No, it was good. It was good. So I love your activism on that. Now, I worked in a building with 6 women, or 5 women. I was the 6th person. They were all young, having babies at different times. This is science, high school. They had a prep period, right? What they had to do to pump was unbelievably disgusting for them. It should be natural. It should be in a situation where they're safe and clean and they don't feel about somebody walking in on them. Now, during one of these ladies, I still remember this because she talked to us at lunch. They'd all tell me when it was happening, they'd say, "Hey, don't come to my room during 4th period." Not a problem. I'm not going to go near it. She would have to go under her desk, the little science desk we have, and then get in there and then pump. Because men were walking in and out, even though she had it all cordoned and said to me, "I'm not going near it. I know I was married once and kids and the whole bit." That to me, when I just heard that story, is disgusting. Women
It happens all over.
having those babies, awesome. It should be in a safe environment where they don't have to worry, clean and relaxed. And what you're doing is part of nature. It's wonderful, and you should feel comfortable. And what happened to the gals in the science department was disgusting, and it should not happen to any woman on our campus. Excuse me. I'm with you on that. That's just unbelievable. The other thing is, I believe the board needs to take a directive on AI. We're behind. We're not being proactive. If a teacher accuses a student of using ChatGPT and tries to fail them, all they have to do is get a lawyer. They'll lose. Now, ChatGPT, it could be good for education. But right now we have no guidelines. Santa Cruz County schools have already looked into this. LA's already looked at it. New York City banned it a year ago, but had to bring it back. And it only started a year ago. We are behind. We need to have some type of system in place so our teachers know what the protocol is. Because right now they're running on, we don't know. We don't know what the board's going to do and help us. So ChatGPT AI is big. And we need to do something now. I wish the board would take a directive on that. AI, I believe we have a grant. How are we doing? Don't we have teachers that are out on doing A-through G? Am I wrong, Dr. Stahl?
We do.
How are we doing?
We will have a report to you after the first semester.
Okay. So absenteeism. It's already the first semester. If kids get 3 Ds the first quarter and we haven't intervened, what are their chances at the semester being successful? They're going to be behind. So we're not doing intervention at the right time. So I think as a board, we need to look at this and make them directives and our reports back to us within a month. Because we need to get on this and get started and get going so we're ahead of it next year. We're already behind. Let's be proactive. So I'm with you ladies. Postcard's great. Let's go on AI, A through G. Let's get those kids having more rigor and passing and helping them. And then of course, let's take a look at the absenteeism. We need to get these kids in school.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Porter. Any board comments? Okay, Ms. Alexander.
I wanted to thank you for the postcards as well. So many talented artists.
Right.
The messages are always heard loud and clear. I want you to know that. And Ezekiel, welcome. Nice to meet you for this first time. Joseph, good to see you always. I just want to wish everybody a wonderful holiday season and a new year filled with hope and taking care of one another all the way around. So short, sweet, simple. Thank you for all you do to everybody, for everybody in the district.
Sure.
Well, quick, thanks for the cards. I don't have many friends, so it was good to be rather than just my wife's friends. So. And some of them were actually nice. So. But anyway, thanks for that. And like Courtney said, it's good for people to be activism. And I finally got my health back after hip surgery, so I'm able to do some more school visits. And I don't want to dwell on the negative, which was only one thing, and that was busing over at Murata because they're at the bottom of the chain, so to speak, in the route, and anytime there's any kind of glitch. Yes. A lot of times the week, the kids will lose a whole period of school time. So, and that affects because they have the first periods, and then it's not being rotated. But other than that, at the school, the staff there and everybody, they were just, everybody just had great things to say about the school. I think 2 of the 3 social studies department come down from Sacramento, and one of the PE guys, because he's friends with them, and 3 staff were there for 20 years, and the new guy had only been there for 8 years, and they all just had great things. The principal loved the school, and it was really nice to see that. The same thing at Lodi High. Maybe there were people that kind of sort of knew, but they had good things to say about the school, and I mean, it was a good vibe. I mean, there was no negativity there. And I had a nursing wife too, and so I heard the stories of her going out to her car, and not this district, but the same kind of issues in the district she was teaching in. So I think that's something, you shouldn't have to go to the bathroom to do that, or if it is a bathroom, like the safe lounge part of it, but the sanitary issue there. So other than that, that's kind of what I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stroh. Any other comments, board comments?
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ball.
President Connected, thank you. Just like everybody said, thank you for the postcards. Very well done. I just had a quick clarification that I wanted to ask for from those postcards. Someone mentioned they had, that we need smaller class sizes. I wasn't aware that we had a class size issue and with too many students in a classroom, more than what is required or is necessary. Is that really a standing issue right now?
So we fill our classrooms based on the number of students in the room. You have a 1:24 ratio at your K3 level. And I think we have contractual language that tries to adhere to the 31, but you have a 31. It can go up to 31. As far as the sections at middle schools and high schools, I don't have that in front of me, but the board does staff, and it does not staff at trying to make those classroom sizes unmanageable. So I think our district works hard at maintaining class sizes, and our staffing reflects that.
So do we have, just to answer to that, do we have a, if let's say a teacher has 33, is there a reason why they have 33? Or did we shift it over temporarily, or did they request for more?
So if you have a situation at an elementary level where there may be 33 students, if those students just came in last minute before you can find other placement for them, under the law, we have a requirement to allow them in school, and if they're at 33, we look to place them at another school. We use the term overflow. There's also other circumstances where class teachers work together at grade level, and they may, one teacher may, for a temporary amount of time, have more kids while someone's doing, working with perhaps a lower group of students, and they go with the smaller. But when it comes to the class roster, we adhere to the expectations there. So we aren't placing 33 students in a 4th grade class. That may pop up temporarily until we can overflow, or there may be other circumstances, but we do not staff at 33 to 1.
And how are we in comparison with the other school districts, at least the neighboring ones, in class sizes?
I know Manteca does theirs differently. Back in 9-10, they looked at doing things a little differently in their elementary classes. Aren't at the same level ours are. They're higher, but I don't have data specifically on how.
But are we good at
Yes,
par?
yes.
Are we better?
I would argue we are better.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, thank you. And then as far as the nursing moms, I'm actually shocked to hear that we don't have anything. Lodi School District has been in business for a long time, and I'm appalled to hear that this is the first time, publicly at least, I have heard this. There are pods available, we can rent them, we can buy them, we can move them from site to site. There are safe spaces for moms to pump breast milk as needed. There is no need for a mother to ever feel unsafe in an environment where we can provide them. School districts to look into purchase of pods. They're portable pods, you can take them from site to site. You can put them one in each site, whatever we need to, but I think we should really look into that.
So Dr. Ball, members of the board, and you've got Ed Services here as far as, the expectation would be when there's a nursing mom, we need to create a plan that is supportive, that we try to work together on. If those situations are popping up with a specific mom and it doesn't seem to be supportive, they would primarily work with their principal. If at that point they're not resolving the situation, we have an Ed Services team, be it the directors or the area directors, who have a responsibility, as well as the personnel department that is there to assist with that process as well, and how to reasonably accommodate and do it in a way that is supportive. So when these things pop up, I would want to bring it back to the school site where this is happening, have the Ed Services team working to ensure that we are doing what we need to at each of our individual schools. Each school's different. Each school has different open spaces where that might, when I say open, I don't mean door open spaces, but rooms that are not being utilized. We have to make sure those are safe. I know when I was in personnel, I was working and supporting a site team dealing with that on numerous occasions. So again, I want to bring this back down to the school site levels to make sure that we are all on the same page. We all understand not just that we understand the law, but we understand how to be supportive, but there are also challenges and limitations, so we have to figure out how to work together. So we're all in agreement there. There is no one who disagrees with that.
Let's make it easier.
Understand.
It's pretty stressful time of
I-
life anyways.
Yes,
Yeah, let's make it easier, so let's strive for that.
understand.
Sooner than later. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank you for the postcards. They were wonderful. It was nice to see positive messages versus negative ones. I do have a couple of questions for either Mr. Young or Mr. Khan. The reoccurring theme in the postcards was that we are somehow capable of controlling healthcare costs. I personally know that mine. This week I got the bombshell, which I'm sure if you have Blue Shield, Blue Shield, no more Lodi Adventist. So that was a bombshell. And then mine is going up by 13%, and I do not take Lodi Unified School District. So I myself am now negative money also in mine, so I can understand where you're at. But can you, one of you clarify, do we have control over the cost of healthcare?
As members of the board, we have our group health with CalPERS. CalPERS is the one who is negotiating the different contracts through Blue Shield, through United, through Kaiser, all of those. We do not control that. We are not part of the discussion between Adventist Health and Blue Shield. That is their process. We have a group health through CalPERS. That process is not ours. We do not control that in any way.
Thank you so much for that clarification. There was a lot of cards that mentioned a teacher in every classroom. That's the goal of Lodi Unified. Our goal has never changed. We would like a teacher in every classroom. So while you might not have a teacher in every classroom, that is our goal. That is Mr. Young's message. That is his goal. That is what we drive home daily, weekly, monthly. And I know you and your team are working hard on that. So thank you for the cards. It was interesting. Again, we have some budding artists. I love the pictures on them. I appreciate them. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I want to thank Leonard and Ms. Flores for the report on this, because it's tedious work. I mean, all those things that you have to do to keep this district going is very great. I'd also like to thank Cynthia Braden. She's our music director for the district, that sends out a schedule if you have it in your emails. I know the board has. And they give you all the dates and all your programs, elementary, are held, and you just pick the date and go there, and you're welcome to attend. Again, I want to wish everybody a great holiday season, and I know that, when's the last day, Mr. Young, of this?
It is the 22nd.
22nd. You know, when I was teaching, I was out the 6th of December, and I went back to the 6th of January, but things have changed, of course. That was in the dark ages. But still, I know that the teachers need a refreshment time, and they will come back in the new year. I think the 6th of January is the next comeback date, is it?
I believe it's the 8th.
8th? Wow. So you have some good things to do. Again, wish everybody a holiday season. And board, thanks again for your wonderful comments to me. It means a lot. And I just have a great new year, which would be 2024 for our season to come next year. Thank you.
Mr. Alexander, you're okay. I guess I'm last man standing then. First of all, wow, finishing up a year. I do want to mention that I personally am probably a little bit more casual than maybe I should be leading a meeting. I've probably been that way my whole life. It's worked very well for me, my 35 years as a classroom teacher. I certainly didn't mean any respect. I don't know if Lisa's still here or not. Oh yeah, there she is. Didn't mean any disrespect. While I was shuffling papers around, and so if you're disrespected, I didn't mean it. Sorry. And the other thing I wanted to mention though was while I was at the CSBA state conference this last week, I approached the Kaiser booth again and asked why their premiums went up so much. compared to, I mean, they went up, not as high as some of the other things, but the percentage-wise, they skyrocketed. And they gave me the same answer as when I approached the Kaiser representative at our health fair here, which kind of surprised me. So either they believe it or it's true or whatever, but they were consistent. And basically they're saying that your other health insurance premiums are going to really go up when their contracts are expired and they're self-contained and all that kind of stuff. But I just want you to know, and I think you heard from some of our board members tonight, is that I feel everybody's paying about the cost of health care. I mean, and I'm waiting for a real good solution from the district and from our employees that come up with a solution. I don't know what's going to be, but we understand, we get it. We're in the same position that you guys are in. So with that, we are done for this calendar year, I guess. Thank you for coming. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We adjourn, sir.
Second. There we go. We're out of here. Thank you, guys.
Good to see you again.
I forgot the mirror. In my table that showed our attendance. I set it on. We gotta close out.
But I don't want to become the person that has to